Hey, digging out a piece of metallic splinter from my finger. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies. And today I'm going to be very quick because I have to leave as soon as possible. I'm actually kind of late to my own adventure. But anyways, today I'm going to be doing a movie review on No Time to Die. I have finally watched No Time to Die yesterday, and that is the latest James Bond movie and also the last Daniel Craig era James Bond movie. For the last 1.5 decades, James Bond has been played by Daniel Craig, the rough, the abrasive, the more violent and raw James Bond, which adds a really refreshing vibe to this character. And James Bond has been one of the longest running characters in the entirety of cinematic history. I mean, the first James Bond movie came out in the early 60s called Dr. No, and James Bond movie has been pumped out every single 3 years, every 3 years or so. But because of the pandemic, No Time to Die was delayed. Okay, so I just tried to find it, but I don't know why I can't find it. But at my home right now, I actually have a a gigantic box of James Bond 007 movie DVDs. It's a huge box and it's a gift. It's actually not really a gift. It's more like we borrowed it from my cousins. But there's this huge box set full of James Bond movies, all the way from Doctor No to Quantum of Solace, called Bond 50. And it's actually not because it's 50 movies, it's because it's 50 years, so it is all the way from Dr. No to Quantum of Solace, and I don't know where it is right now. I can't find it. But anyways, I don't have much time, so I gotta go back to reviewing this movie. Daniel Craig's James Bond era has been some of the most exciting James Bond films to date. Starting off with a bang, we have Casino Royale, and also in the year 2013, we have the movie Skyfall, which is a movie that had left a pretty strong, impressive mark on me, given that when I first watched this movie, I was just in my early teenage years. I was just a kid, in fact. So this is kind of like my entry level, my entry point for James Bond, and it had left a really strong mark for me. I didn't expect James Bond to be this emotional and this heavy and dramatic, but here it is. And Casino Royale and Skyfall are both arguably two of the best James Bond movies ever. But with hits, we also have some misses like Quantum of Solace as well as Spectre, released a couple years after Skyfall, which is really mediocre and a really disappointing follow-up to Skyfall. Anyways, after that we have No Time to Die, which is the last Daniel Craig James Bond movie. And it is directed by Cary Joji Fukunaga, who also directed the first season of True Detective. So that's cool. He also directed the movie Sin Nombre, which I watched and reviewed for a film introduction class in my college, which is kind of a lackluster film, but it is what it is. But it is still undeniable that Cary Joji Fukunaga has talent and can direct a good film. But in the greater context of the James Bond movie franchise, I guess it really isn't up to him when it comes to how to direct a James Bond movie. Anyways, No Time to Die is a movie about Lucifer Safin, played by the one and only Rami Malek. And as expected, he is amazing in the movie. However, I don't think No Time to Die is that great of a James Bond movie because A, the villain is pretty underutilized. He doesn't show up all that much, and when he does, he is still not that interesting of a character. And that's kind of bad because Safin in this movie is supposed to be a very important and powerful and threatening character who has done crazy things like killing off longtime Bond villains as well as nearly destroying the whole world. But when Safin is on screen, I just don't feel as threatened or as interested to him. He's just not that great of a villain. And on top of that, there's a lot of cliches and plot conveniences and Bondisms in this movie that really isn't all that great. I mean, they're not terrible because that's exactly what you would expect from a James Bond movie. A grenade blowing off, and all you hear is muffled noise, or, you know, a lot of chases, getting shot, but James Bond still survives and he still stands up and run away. You know, that kind of stuff happens all the time. Exactly what you would have expected. But for a final Daniel Craig James Bond film, I kind of wish that the style of the story would go to more interesting directions, but I guess that never really happened. There are also a couple of action sequences that are actually pretty impressive in this movie, like the final climax. I really like that. I also really like the fight in the forests in Norway. That was a really good fight, even though it wasn't the most intense or colorful fight ever. It feels final, and that's pretty much my final conclusion for this movie, and that is it feels very final. It really feels like the perfect send off for Daniel Craig's character. I also really like the ending. It's a very bold ending. It's something that James Bond movies had never tried before because it can never happen, but it actually happened, and it's actually really shocking, and I really love it. I like the ending. It's memorable and it's bold, and there's that. I also think this movie isn't really that bad. Hans Zimmer as the composer is good as expected, and Daniel Craig's great. Ana de Armas, man, I need to see more of her. Can she show up in the next Bond? Please, please, because she's freaking awesome in this movie. Jeffrey Wright is amazing in this movie. Um, Leia Seydoux is great. Everybody's great in this movie. Ray Fiennes is great. Ben Whishaw and Naomi Harris. Everybody's amazing in this movie, and everybody did their parts really well. And that's pretty much what I have to say about No Time to Die. I wouldn't say it is a great James Bond film, but I'd say it's still very decent. I'd say the action is still very satisfying, even though the villain is rather weak, and there are just a bunch of plot conveniences that's kind of like really like one of the characters who secretly work for Safin is called Logan Ash. Why would he tell James Bond his real name if he's an antagonist? Don't know why, but that really helped James Bond. So thank you for revealing your real name to an enemy. So, I'm giving No Time to Die a strong 7 out of 10. Have you watched No Time to Die from 1 to 10? How much did you rate it? Like or and subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching. I gotta go. Bye bye.